In today's video, we're going to cover our second full year in business. We're going to cover the additions that we made to the business. We're going to talk about the lessons that we learned. We're going to go over what we did to improve the business, talk about a few mistakes that we made. We're also going to break down our financials. We're going to talk about revenue, our expenses, and our profit. 2024 was a big year for us. We essentially added another truck to start the year off. We bought that truck in November of 23. So starting in January, you can see the addition when you look at the revenue numbers. We also transitioned everything to hooklift. We were running chassis, which was just a logistical nightmare. But first off, the learning curve of chassis is not easy. Hooklifts, I can train somebody up in about 15 to 20 minutes. So that made our job a lot easier. So what we started to see there is we were turning dumpsters faster. As we go through the numbers, you're gonna see our revenue climb, and it was a direct correlation with that. We were getting dumpsters out faster, we were picking them up faster, we were getting out of the transfer station faster, and it made a huge difference for our business. We were turning customers away, and that's something I certainly don't like to do. So we added 6 14-yard dumpsters because that's the majority of the orders that we received. We added 3 20s and 3 25s. We picked up a new truck, so we decided to go with the Ram 5500. It's worked out tremendously for us, and we're able to cover the demand for the rest of the year. Now we're gonna jump into our 2024 year. We're gonna do it month by month. We're gonna cover the revenue and basically show how we have grown the company, and then basically being in Ohio, the months do play a role in how much business and how many phone calls you get. So our first month, January 2024, we had $29,773 in revenue. February, we jumped that up to $45,000. And the reason for the jump was because February was basically, it was a warm February. We didn't have a whole lot of freezing. And we felt, as a business, we felt like people were more interested in, because of it being warm, or wanting to get a jump on the spring cleaning. So February jumps to 45,000, March jumps to 51,000. One of the things that we started doing in March is we added another driver. At that time, we had 2 hooklift trucks working, and we were working hard, long hours. We're shifting drivers. We had one guy coming in early, would quit around, he'd start around 6, stop around noon. We put another driver in that truck. So March, we jump up to $51,000, $357, and $51,357 in revenue. April, we find success with running an extra driver. We jump up to $66,408. That is basically spring cleaning. April is always our busiest month, and you get some spring breakers, but not a whole lot. People are wanting to get things done in April. So $66,408. We go to May, $69,661. End of April, beginning of May, I made the decision we needed to add another truck. I felt like we could take it on. I felt like we could use it. I felt like if we needed to put somebody else in another truck for extra hours, we certainly could if we needed to utilize that. You know, the thing is, you're paying for these trucks, you're paying for insurance, you're making your monthly payments, you're doing all the things, you know, your fixed costs that go with it. You might as well utilize those trucks as best you can. So we were maximizing that. We were increasing maintenance too, as we'll talk about here in a bit. So April, $66,408. May, $69,000, $69,661. June, we dropped down. We dropped to $63,043. I think June dropped because a lot of people go on vacations. We've seen that drop a little bit in the past, our first year. We move on to July, we're back up to $69,955. That is by far, you know, to date, that was our best month that we had. Additional truck really helped. August, we're sitting steady, $69,867. Move into September, $68,118. October, we got a couple of really good accounts. Things started rolling for us. We really maximized our trucks and our dumpster rentals. We were at $85,682. I mean, that for us and for the amount of dumpsters we had at that time, that's about the maximum that we could get out of that. We jumped to November. Now, November, you get Thanksgiving and things start to slow down. So we dropped big time. We dropped to $57,784. December, usually beginning of December up until about the 15th, things are good. Things are steady. They do real well. And then once the 15th hits, everybody's got the holidays on their mind and things drop off. So our December revenue was $55,012. So if you total all that up, our second full year in business, we did $731,000, $808.40. So turned out to be a pretty good year. Huge jump in revenue. Of course, huge jump in headaches too. Maintenance, more customer issues, you name it, issues with the transfer facility, getting in, getting out. How we've gotten around some of those issues, those long lines, a pretty smart move, pretty lucky move on our part, but that didn't happen until this year, 2025. I'm obviously a firm believer in marketing and advertising. I think it's gotten us where we are so far. We spent $76,000 on marketing and advertising. We did a mix of, a lot of Google, throwing in some Facebook ads, throwing in different types of marketing that we felt would make us, more relevant than some of our competition. So that was a big expense for us. The other expense that we had in there is basically our contract labor. You can't get dumpsters on driveways if you don't have people to deliver them. So we spent almost $83,000 on labor. We set our budget for 10% for marketing, and we set our budget to be right around 10% for labor. Obviously, we've exceeded that, not by much, but we did exceed it. Another big expense is basically what, our general business expenses. That hit us for $43,000, and that's just can be a mix of anything that you want to throw in there. Vehicle expenses. We did, I think we got a breakdown for fuel here later. But some of those expenses that we did for fuel weren't always broken down as a fuel expense because we had some credit cards that we gave the guys. Those credit cards didn't really let us break it down into what was fuel, what was DEF, what was other items that we needed, tarp repairs, and even some general tire maintenance. We've had some issues where we were on the side of the road and the guys had to use a credit card just to get that fixed. Insurance. We paid a total of $25,000 for insurance, $25,577 for the year. Fairly expensive, but not like we can ride without it. Even more breakdown. We had some meals in there. We did some stuff for the guys where, we'd buy dinner for them. We had some customer meals, some other things thrown in there. Another large expense, we had small tools and equipment. You're always needing something. We had $6,819 in just, small tools and equipment and repairs. Payroll taxes, that'll hit you. $7,000 in payroll taxes. Rent. We do a pretty good job on our rent, although it's increased some, which is part of the reason we'll explain at some point in time why we're getting around the transfer facility and the stoppages. We went and rented another yard this year. As we continue to get dumpsters, we need more yard space. If you need more yard space, you're going to have to pay a higher rent. General supplies, which could be also, as we talked about earlier with the small tools, our general supplies total $25,000. Our total for expenses for the year, if you add all that up, was $482,000. Left us with a net operating income of $249,000. We did have an insurance claim, which I don't like to talk about. That cost us $3,400. So throw that in there. The big fee that we have on here, and I always complain about this one, and I shouldn't, would be our disposal and waste fees. For the year 2024, we paid $123,353 for disposal. And that's one of those things that's good and bad, right? Because the higher the disposal fee is, that means the more business that we're doing means our income is going up. I love and hate writing that check out every month when I have to send that to the county. So $123,000 for that. On top of that, phone service. I give all of our drivers a phone. Some of them have iPads. It gives them a little bit more flexibility in looking into the account versus just seeing what's on their phone. We've utilized the iPads. We utilize them a lot. It does seem to help. So we had $5,088 for the year that we paid in phone service. So our total for the utilities was $129,572. Other expenses, we're talking vehicle expenses. We're talking about the insurance claim that I don't like to talk about, which is $3,400. Fuel, vehicle repairs. The total for our vehicle expenses was $75,344. And if you throw on the much despised insurance claim of $34.55, what we call on this line item net other income was $78,799. For the total, somewhere around $577,000 total in expenses, which left us with a net income $170,399.33. So that kind of wraps up year 2, how we performed. Do we make a lot of mistakes? Absolutely. But for the most part, we did pretty well. At the end of the year, we were hopeful that 2025 would start us with a series of 2 new Kenworths, which we've done some videos on, and 39 new dumpsters. It's not to brag. It's not to talk about how great we are. It's basically to help people better understand what they can do in the dumpster business to outperform the competition. It's kind of funny because I debated with a guy one time about, how much you should spend on marketing, how much you should actually spend like cleaning your trucks, how much extra work you should put into it. And the guy argued with me, hey, we're just mom and pop's business. We don't have that much to put into marketing. We don't have that much to put into new equipment. And my point is if you don't put it in there, your competition is going to. That's why we made this video, to give you guys a little bit better understanding of a company like us who basically, at this point in time, we're just wrapping up 2024 with the numbers that I gave you. We're 2.5 years old. If we can do it, I feel like anybody else can do it. And that's the whole reason we made this. If you're watching this and you're wanting to get into the dumpster game, hopefully it helps you out. That's the whole goal. Maybe explain a little bit more of what we do and how we do it. But that's the whole reason we made the video. As usual, we'd love for you to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Leave comments below. We answer every comment or try to reply to every comment so we can address your questions or concerns. Thanks for watching.